All right. So, hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Tamu Petra Brown of Coaching by Tamu. And guess what? Nurse Teresa has joined us, the wonderful founder of Royal Care SKN Health Services, Home Health Services. And of course, she is an alumnus of the Jumpstart Your Business in 90 Days. And I'm so happy to have her because let me tell you, she is a busy lady. So, Nurse Teresa, welcome. Tell us about yourself and tell us about your business.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Tamu, for having me on your interface.
Yes.
Uh, I am Nurse Teresa Hamilton, a registered nurse midwife by profession, and also the founder of Royal Care SKN Home Health Services. What we are a home health agency who seeks to provide in-home nursing care for persons who are unable to, let's say, go into a facility or whose relatives would prefer that they be cared for in their own home at their own time, which is convenient for them.
So, can you tell us? I mean, we know that you've told us you're a registered nurse by profession, but not many nurses turn entrepreneur. So, can you tell us why you decided to start Royal Care SKN Home Health Services?
Okay. The need to start, or the desire to start this service within the Federation, it was always an initiative that I had in mind, that I envision would make life easier for persons, because we often hear the cry, oh, I want to put my relative in a home, but then I can't afford to put them in a home, or I don't want to put them in a home, but I would like to get someone that would come in to assist me. I mean, you also hear the cry that I just don't want to take anyone, like just, okay, ask a friend to come in and help me out with my mom, or help me out with my dad or my relative. I want to have someone who is certified. And that is the cry. That is the gap that we at Royal Care SKN Home Health Services are providing. We're trying to fill that gap, because our employees are not just regular off the streets per se persons. They are certified caregivers. We have registered nurses, we have certified caregivers in geriatric care. So we are providing that persons with certification. No longer those persons want someone who just, I can come in and hold on for you. We don't want that. We have to raise the standard within the Federation, because persons must be held accountable and persons must be responsible for each actions. Even though that you may have a client who is bedridden, it doesn't mean that they are there and they are of no use. You have to realize that you have to provide that care, that empathetic care to them still, because they're still there. They would like someone to be of companionship to them. So they're there. So you have that interaction. It's not just about going and saying, oh, let me help you with your dad or with your mom, in terms of, okay, I'll just come and change them up for you and that's it. No, that's a hands-off approach. So you want more of a hands-on approach, to know that the person is there who is giving that care and they're certified and they can help you in other areas. This in terms branches out to the services that we offer. We offer nutritional support. You may ask, what is nutritional support? Okay, let me explain. You may be a diabetic and you have to be on insulin, or maybe you're controlled on medication, right? So you have someone who's going to prepare your meals for you. They're going to decide the portion size of your meals. It's not just giving you all carbs or filling your plate, because you said to us, nurse, I really like a lot of rice, or I really like a lot of chicken. That would really be nice if you could do that. Proportion it based on your condition. That is what nutritional support entails. We also offer that personal support. The personal support for us is being there to provide, for example, to fulfill your hygienic purposes. Um, you may have persons may have relatives that have, let's say, a wound that needs special care. You know, instead of you having to probably, let's say, journey to the health centers, which we are not excluding them because they are part of our system. We have to work together as a team. So we provide that daily dressing support that would be needed, for example, for that wound, based on the type of wound that you have. Okay. Um, Also, we provide what we have is a collaboration with the medical professionals, because healthcare is a professional team. It's a team of persons that come together to provide for you a service. You know, we have a number of general practitioners within the federation. Some persons may not be compliant in terms of keeping up to date with their visits to their general practitioner. So we try to provide that collaboration. When last have you been to your general practitioner just to have your checkup or whatever the case may be? If you don't have one, we have one that works along with us who would come in and provide that service for you in terms of giving you your physical checkup, doing a workup for you. You know, so that person now, that practitioner now becomes your personal practitioner. So that person is just like you're going to the doctor's office. Is just that you have the doctor at home. You have the doctor. You have access to
House
your
calls for
own
you.
medical personal professional.
Yes.
All right. So
Yes. Yes.
those are just a bit of some of the services that we offer
Yes,
at present.
and I'm happy that you've spoken about it because you offer such a comprehensive service. And what's important, it's like you said, it's not just from the physical. Part of what you do, like your logo shows, is that love, that caring, that psychosocial support, that mental health type of support and engagement and companionship as well. So I want to ask you because
A holistic approach.
yes, holistic. And you touched on some very important things, things that we talk about in Jumpstart. You talked about the cry, what you were hearing from the market. And we would have spoken about how that's so important in doing your business model, being able to relieve the pains of the marketplace. So when you're able to relieve those pains, you have a stellar service or product if you can figure those out. Now, what brought you to Jumpstart? Because you were already in business, you already had employees, you know, what brought you to Jumpstart? Are you hearing? Oops.
Okay, I heard what you asked.
Okay.
What brought me to Jumpstart, the
Yes.
90-day Jumpstart program, seeing that I was already in the business.
Yes.
Yes, I was already in the business, but it was at startup mode. And what I really wanted to capture from Jumpstart is not just um, starting a business, because you can start a business, but if you don't have the tools that is needed, I mean, you need to know your value proposition, you need to know your customer archetype, and those were the things that the Jumpstart program brought out to me. It's like it was for me. It was starting over again with the necessary tools that were needed to really jumpstart, like the program say, jumpstart the business. So it's like I went back. I started it in I had an idea. I started it, and then when I saw the program being advertised, I said, okay, this is something that I think I should be a part of. I think I need more information. I think I need more guidance for a business to progress. So I said, okay, let's start this. Let's sign up and see how it goes. And it really helped me. It really helped me. Even as now, I still utilize the business model canvas, because
Oh,
for me, what I
awesome.
see, it's not just saying, okay, I have this business model canvas. Yes, you have it on paper, But for me, what I see the business model canvas is, it's your operations manual. That's how I recognize it. It's like, how do I operate? Because it outlines your value proposition, your activities, your channels. I mean, how do you market? What are your values? You know, and these are things that you have to set in terms of, in order for you to attract the right client, you know, because as I can recall Dr. Tamu bringing out and re-emphasizing to us that it's not every customer will be your customer. You know, you're going to have calls that persons are going to seem interested, and they're going to call you, want to find out what the services are, and you're going to tell them, they're going to want to find out what your charges are, and you're going to say, well, you know, you're going to tell them what the charges are, but for service, it is different than a product where I can actually tell you the cost of a product. The service now, I have to do an evaluation to determine if you would be classified as a potential client. So it's because it's in the field of healthcare. You have to do a physical evaluation and assessment of each client. You have to know what you're working with, you're hands-on. You know, I have to know in details. Just for example, because I come from a nursing background, I have to know your history. I can't just decide, okay, I'm going to care for you and don't know your history, you know, and then suddenly something may happen. I don't have a history to say, okay, I can recall that the patient or the relative would have said to me, oh, my mom suffers from this. So that is the key, that is the basic difference between giving you a price for a product versus giving you a price for a service.
Mhm.
So
Especially when that service is related to your life and longevity and health and wellness. So, and
wellness,
every
yes,
person is different, so you would have to customize sometimes your
customize,
package. Yes,
exactly, exactly,
yes.
you
And
know.
that's
So
important.
that is very important. So you have, so like I was saying, the business model, it really, when you sit down and you work it out, because it's go through it, you, these are my shortcomings, how do I market, because the channels are there, it will tell you the channels, how you could market. Your customer relation basically is like, what is the person, who or what is the person that you're building the product for, you know. And then you have your customer segment, which is telling you really who you're building the value proposition for, what do they do, or what do they want. So you have those key things that came out to me from the 90 days jumpstart your program. And these, like I say, have been, it's an operation manual, and it has been useful for me going forward, as I try to propel Royal Care SKN home health services into the market deeper.
Well, thank you. It's really always gratifying to know that what you do impacts not just at the time of delivery, but after. Now, I know there's been COVID, and so could you talk to us, nurse, about how have you ensured COVID compliance as you carry out your duties, and your employees as well with Royal Care SKN Home Health Services?
Okay. During the COVID-19, well, the period where we were on lockdown, we were still operational. You know, it did not affect us because we, however, fall under the essential workers. So we were granted access to our clients. It did not interfere with our daily routine, our daily plan of care. So in terms of compliance, persons, clients, and their relatives had to be educated, and information had to be reinforced, because we know that the Ministry of Health and the NEOC were marketing the information and were ensuring that persons were aware, that that sense of awareness for persons within the Federation was present. However, even though that was being done, you still find that you had persons who initially were reluctant and were like, oh, this is going to pass, this too shall pass, you know. It's like, I'm going to just do it for today, and then tomorrow I'm going to do something different. So we had to reinforce the COVID-19 rules and regulation. We had to really tell them in terms of the guidelines, that is, like, you can't have, we are doing in-home nursing care. And just like if they were in a facility, visitations were closed off. So unless you were a member of that family and interacted with the client itself, him or herself, no other visitations were allowed. Upon entrance, yes, it's your home, but we go out. You go out to somewhere and you come back in. You had that hand sanitization process being done upon entrance, yes, into your own home. So we were there. We encourage hand washing. We encourage the respiratory etiquette, that is wearing a mask when you go out and when you come back in terms of, we educated you, because some persons really doesn't know. Okay, they put on the mask and they just take it off.
Mhm.
Now, the proper way of taking off the mask is not just to pull it off your nose, because your hands would have been contaminated. So that's why the mask, they have that elastic loop. So you hold it from. So we had to do that education in terms of mask removal um, for members of the family. Also, in terms of our workers, we did the sanitization process as well. We did the mask wearing. Um, what we did also in terms of clothing, and clothing that would include our shoes as well. So we had a change over of those clothing. You change once you get into the home, you would change over, change your shoes, change your tops, everything. When you're leaving, you change over. You don't go home in your same clothing that you would have worked in during the course of the day. So we really tried to um, ensure that the COVID-19 guidelines were being followed, not just by our employees, but also by the clients and their family members as well.
So quite comprehensive care, which I think is like a value of Royal Care SKN, this type of comprehensive caring. And we are seeing that coming out even with your COVID compliance and that
Yes.
education process. So, making sure that because, COVID is serious and you serve a vulnerable group. And
Group of
so,
persons, yes.
yes. Now tell me what's next for Royal Care SKN that you
Well,
want to share?
what's next for Royal Care SKN? Home health services. I would say at this point is that it's being worked on. It is in the pipeline. Something big would
Something
be coming
big.
on stream shortly. Yes,
Good.
we hope. Well, to give you a hint, we're looking at expansion.
Right. Grow.
So that is something that we have, well, I have personally taken from the 90-day Jumpstart program, in terms of, you may start small, but you don't have to stay there.
Nope.
So you look at ways, potential ways for growth and development, and you still, even though you may be looking, you still want to engage your present clients and to encourage new clients to come on board as well.
Mhm. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Warms my heart. You look marvelous. I was asking
Thank
her
you.
how, yeah, her hair looks so marvelous, right? And what I love about Royal Care SKN Home Health Service is that when it's a different type of business. Um, like Teresa said, what's really important here is that she's certified. She's not just any old person on the street doing this. She is an actual registered nurse. She's a healthcare professional. What I also liked about the business when it came to me was her value proposition, this whole idea of that holistic wellness, which is really not something we're seeing even in things like homes and so on, where it's really just a very mechanical type process. And that in itself is differentiating for
Different.
me. along with the fact that although you have these service packages, I can customize a service package for the care of myself or my loved ones. And that's important because everyone has different ailments. And
Exactly.
I love to see women growing. You know, this is my whole reason for being. But men were on Jumpstart too. But I love to see women growing. And I also love to see growth because I have a new tagline, and I'm saying that really what Coaching by Tamu is trying to do is move people from side hustle to scalable businesses, to big ventures, man.
Big.
$1 million ventures, big things. All right.
Yes,
So, any last words? Let them
that's
know
true.
where they can find Royal Care SKN. How can they get in touch with you and all of that good stuff?
Okay. You can find Royal Care SKN. We are on Google Business. You can always browse us on the web. Also, you can look for us on Facebook, on Instagram, Royal Care SKN Home Health Services. You can contact us directly via telephone at 869-669-7947 or 869-664, 5689, or 869-667-9915. All right. So
Awesome.
those are the areas. You can also email us at royalcareskn@gmail.com.
All right. So, I'll put the email in everywhere where I post this, along with links to social media. So, thank you so much, Teresa. So, I'm going to end our recording.
Thank you.
All right.